Yes. So it's no surprise, right, that sex is good for you.
Oh,
okay.
heck yeah.
So there
All age
is now.
groups.
Oh, I just lost my story. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. So there's a new article that came out this week, and it suggests from a team at Oxford and Coventry in the UK. They did a study on 28 men and 45 women aged 50 to 83. And in the study, the participants were asked about their sex lives, including how often, on average, they had intercourse over the last 12 months. Answers included never, monthly, and weekly. So a whole
Okay.
variety of answers, okay? They were also asked about other questions regarding their health and their lifestyle. Well, they found men and women who had sex on a weekly basis scored higher on the visual, spatial, and verbal tests than those who had sex monthly or never. There was no difference in scores for attention, memory, and language, so they weren't able to prove that sex is good for those things, but they say it's better for visual, spatial, and verbal tests. And so the cognitive boosts, not quite yet known at this point, but they're
Okay.
saying that there could actually be some true health benefits to having sex
Well, there
when you get
go.
older.
There you
go.
Got to keep up the sex drive as you get older. But now there are real reasons why.
Yes.
Not just for the joy of it.
Exactly. And the team also says that they think the hormones like dopamine and oxytocin, I think, could influence the relationship between sex and brain function. So potentially, the more often you engage in that activity with your significant other, the better functioning brain you will have. So,
And in a relationship,
Take
it's
that.
good for the ego.
true.
Both to know that you are still attracted and you still desire those certain needs and things from your partner. I see all the benefit in that. And I know we have parents. And so anytime that topic comes up, it's still, I don't care how old you get, when you talk about your parents and our elders, it's like, don't want to hear about that.
Right.
But also knowing it is good for them and it's healthy.
And let's talk
and
about
intimacy.
Intimacy
Sometimes
is a
people,
beautiful thing.
Intimacy is something that people need regardless of age. So
Right.
if Pawpaw is 90 and he wants to get it in, Pawpaw, you do what you gotta do, boo-boo, okay?
Oh,
you
boo-boo.
take
Yes,
Nana
Pawpaw.
over there and you and Nana go in the room and you have a
And
great
take it
time,
at your own
Pawpaw.
pace.
Yes.
Everyone, intimacy means something different.
It's
to
true.
every couple.
This conversation though always sparks this in me, the topic of love languages. You know what? There's 5
Okay.
love languages, and
Yes.
it's: do you like to be touched? Do you like to be given gifts? Do you like to be spoken to? Do you like to be? You know, there's different ways that you receive love, and then you should give love based on how the person in your life receives it. So you might receive love by, I need the physical touch and I need the verbal communication as well. I need to be reiterated that you love me. I need to hear you say it. But your partner might say, I just need the occasional, hey, I have a surprise gift for you. I got you some golf clubs, and to say I love you in the morning, and that's it. But that doesn't mean that your love languages are the same. So it's always important to have those conversations with your partner
What
about
is
how you
love
receive love.
to
Yeah.
you.
Now
I think-
listen, we're saying this and it's all in the good, but what happens when you walk in on your parents in their love language? Then what?
they were speaking all
Then
kinds
right,
of
you
languages.
Okay.
like, oh yeah, you
I
really
mean, it depends what age
really
you're talking about. How old
talking
are you?
about-
You're
My
talking about right
parents-
now? If that were to happen, I said, you know what? Good for y'all.
if you walked in.
Good
Okay, I don't
for
want to walk
y'all.
in,
That's
but I will
fine.
say this,
That's
TMI.
fine. I think I'm mature enough. to be like,
TMI though,
Thank
my
you.
mom and dad still tell me about how they conceived me all the time. Came
That's
up at my wedding,
cute.
told all our wedding
Well, you
guests. It
gotta
was
know.
great.
You need to know.
And then I called my dad on his birthday. I'm gonna
Oh,
out
you're
you,
gonna-
Dad.
you're
I'm gonna
going
out
there?
you. Called my dad on his
Papa
birthday.
Dad.
I said, Dad, how's your day going? And he's like, well, your mom and I had fun this morning. And I'm like, oh,
Is dad just saying that to make you go, ah?
I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Papa Comfort, you do what you gotta do, boo boo. Okay.
I'm happy for my
cute.
parents. 25 years of marriage. That's pretty spectacular. Yes, I'm happy for them.
Awesome. I'm happy for them, and I hope you all are happy for those in your life who are sharing TC. But going back to the love language,
Yeah.
I think that is so important. I learned that recently, that whole 5 language, love
Yeah.
language idea. And I think it is so true because, like you said, how you receive love, say I'm one that, yes, it's all about the communication. So let's talk it out. Let's have those certain words that we use to call each other, by our names or whatever. That's important, say, to me. But if you're not giving it, doesn't mean it's not important to him. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you need to know each other's love language
Totally.
and not feel like because it's not being done to you, it means that there's no love there. Like, no, that person's just trying to show you love. If you're not a person that really cares about the gifts, don't expect the gifts and
Right.
don't think that if those gifts don't come, that it's a bad thing because they're just trying to speak your language, which
Right.
is maybe more of the communication.
Exactly. And we
like
have a
that.
lot of people starting the conversation on what is elderly because I heard it too when we said the elderly between 50
I said,
and 80.
Okay, I
And
said
so-
our elders
Our
because
elders.
everyone has someone who's
Yes.
older than that. 90-year-old
and the
could
way
have
that
elders too.
the way the article was written, it talked
Yeah.
about the elderly, but 50 is not old.
Okay. No, it's the new 20, honey.
So a lot of people are saying what they consider to be elderly, and Ruby said 70 to 80. And I agree, Ruby. 70 to 80. Elderly.
70 to 80?
Yeah.
But even now,
My
with,
grandma
listen,
would be
right?
considered elderly. She's 85 and she is
Young
the-
at heart.
Yeah.
I'm talking nails done, hair done,
She's
Coronas
like-
every night. Still works a 9 to 5 in East or in Los Angeles, and she lives. It's like no, she's still operating like she's 55.
Yeah.
So
and old
she's
again.
not elderly
When we
to me.
think, I think a lot of times when these terms were defined, it was back in the day where people didn't live as long as we're
Mm-hmm.
living now. So if you were 65, you were pretty much toward the end.
Yeah.
I'm assuming when these terms of elderly came to be. But now people are living a long time and healthy, thriving, driving, walking around, dancing, having full lives, full social lives, retiring later now
Right.
because you can't
Yeah.
retire when you're 60 because you're living until you're 95. What
Right.
you gonna do?
Right.
So
What are you going to do?
what are you gonna do? So
I'm trying
yeah,
to look
that
up-
word elderly, it doesn't match 2017 by
Right.
our standards now.
And
Okay,
Kim,
well,
think,
I
at least I
say,
don't think.
let's see, I put this in. At what age, what age old age begins cannot be universally defined because it differs according to the context. Most developed world countries have accepted the chronological age of 65 years as a definition of elderly or older person. 65.
And in this country, you can start getting the senior discount, quote unquote, at 55.
Yeah.
So it's like if you want to say you're a senior when you go get your pancakes at IHOP for the discount, I'm all about it. But if you don't want to feel like you're a senior at that point
Right.
until you're in your 80s or 90s, that's fantastic. And Kimberly says you're as young as you feel, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Just like Grandma is it Tellis or a different last name? Grandma.
Grandma. Grandma
Granny.
Lola.
Granny Lola.
Grandma Lola. Interesting. Okay, well, this whole conversation started because we were talking about our elders having sex or the
Right.
elderly having sex.
Elders
is a
are
good
not.
thing. Either
So-
way, I don't think it ever that drive.
It was
ever stops?
50 to 83 years old. So whatever you think
That's a
elderly
large
is.
span. though.
Yes.
50, 60, 70, 80. Yeah,
But
it's a
again,
30-year
good
span.
for the brain, friends. Good for the brain.
stuff. All right. Well, all of this has been good for our brains today. I hope you walk away having learned something new. We appreciate your comments. Thank you for chiming in. I felt like we were really connected with you guys today. Keep the comments coming. We are here every weekday at 8:15, and then every morning. If you want more of this and more news and weather and traffic, that's 5 to 7 a.m. I know it's early, but wake up with us every weekday morning, Channel 10, right here on ABC. Morning Blend. Bye, guys. Bye.